Well, we now cross live to our London correspondent, Dan Whitehead. Dan, good afternoon to you. Shock results, a terrible night for Miliband, and now talk of a string of resignations. David Cameron to meet the Queen, still a lot to happen. Just bring us up to speed.
Yeah, absolutely. This story building momentum now after a groundbreaking night in terms of elections. Of course, as you mentioned, this was not expected. This was a massive shock. The polls for months and months have been neck and neck, and last night the exit poll, and as the results are now showing a decent majority for the Conservative Party. But yes, in the last hour we have seen Nigel Farage, the leader of the UK Independence Party. He failed to become elected an MP, and he has stood down from the party. But also Nick Clegg, the leader of the Liberal Democrats, who has kept his position as an MP for Sheffield, the area of Sheffield, the UK. He has given a very emotional speech. In fact, he welled up with tears going down his face as he stood down as the leader of the Liberal Democrats. Of course, this is the man who has been the Deputy Prime Minister for the last 5 years as part of the coalition. We are expecting in around half an hour's time Ed Miliband, the leader of the Labour Party. Of course, the Labour Party trounced in this election, losing so many seats when it comes to Scotland. He is due to give a statement in around half an hour. Widely anticipated that he himself will be stepping down as the leader of the Labour Party. So within an hour or so, we are expected to see three leaders of major prominent parties stand down in the United Kingdom. At the same time, in 20 minutes' time, David Cameron due to travel to the Queen to formally seek permission to start a government, and he looks like he has secured that clear majority now to form a government for another 5 years.
All right, and Dan, another 5 years in office for David Cameron. Is it fair to say that it's going to be a rocky road ahead?
Well, there are some big challenges. The two biggest ones, of course, will be the huge rise in the Scottish national vote. We have literally seen from within one election the SNP, the Scottish National Party, swoop in and take all but 2 seats in Scotland, all from Labour. So there is a massive Scottish national movement now. That, of course, has been buoyed since the referendum. David Cameron has to figure out a way of giving Scotland more power without seeing the union break up. That's one of his huge big challenges. The other one, of course, is Europe. Despite UKIP not doing particularly well, the issue has now become mainstream. So David Cameron has to figure out what he's going to do about that. And, of course, he has promised that if he became Prime Minister as part of a majority government, which has now happened, he will be holding a referendum on the UK's membership of the EU in 2017. It's not a straightforward referendum. It's a referendum on a reformed relationship with the EU, which he is busy negotiating. So he's got a couple of years to lock down the details of that, which will be surrounded things like trade and so forth. But that is something that's going to happen in 2017. All the while, of course, with this new Conservative government for 5 years, David Cameron said he will not be serving a third term. So at some point in the next 5 years, David Cameron will be stepping down as leader of the Conservative Party and Prime Minister. And so we will be getting a leadership election within the Conservative Party at some point during this government. So there is a lot that's going to happen over the next 5 years, and there is certainly a lot happening in the next hour or two here in London.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. Dan Whitehead, our UK correspondent, live from London.